We've been using DDS dashboard for about a year, a little bit over a year. There's just so many features to it, but what I love the most is being able to track stats on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. I can put in as many stats as I want. So it's not just limited to the basic group of stats. I create substats, I create combination stats, which basically means I'm able to put the same, like new patients, right? I can put new patient leads, new patient scheduled, new patient seen in the same stat, and I can see how those curves go. So I'm able to track where the drop really happened, or, oh, we hit an affluence, what happened, what really worked right. So to be able to see all of this in just one glance is amazing. What I also love is that each of my staff member has their own login to create the stats. So they update it and they can track their own stats on a daily, hourly, whatever way they want to. The first time ever one of my staff members did that, they were like, oh my God. So it's not like you are judging us. I am judging my own self on how I performed. So they took more responsibility for their stats. So it was beautiful. Another thing that I loved was when we onboarded new staff members, we were able to assign them hats. We were able to assign checklists to them, and it made it so simple. They were not running through like different programs to get it done. It was one specific place. They logged in. The end of the day, they put their stat in. Is my checklist completed? My checklist is completed. This is what I need to do. I turn it in. It made it super simple to have it all in one place. And then one of the other features that I loved was the org board. So simple to update the org board. So whenever we have hires or we let someone go, I can update it right away and it's there for everyone to see. It's not like I have to revisit that with everybody. So many features, but I think the graphs and the stats, mind-blowing. That helps us a lot. Even right now, when I'm filling up my paperwork with my Power Client Manager, I'm able to just see those stats and fill in whatever I need to. And I'm able to, okay, this dropped. Why did this drop? Okay, let's look back at those sub-stats. I love that feature that I can connect them. So that's what I love about it. I don't enter anybody's stats. I enter my stats. My office manager doesn't enter anybody else's stats. Each staff member has their own login and they log in to enter their stats. And it's actually pretty simple. Like, it's just a click of a button and you can go just enter the numbers in and you click OK and it's already there. And then the graphs are already there too. It makes it simple. We did a quick 1 hour training where we kind of introduced the dashboard, the little things right there, and we already assigned the stats so they were able to log in and enter them. The interesting thing is when you assign a stat to a staff member, which you can do when you create the org board, their stats, the ones that they are supposed to input, pulls in. So they're not having to go through the whole list. Their specific one pulls in and they're able to enter it right away. We had a part-time hygienist. She came in and she was like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, okay, Miss Linda, just log in, do this, and boom, in 5 minutes, she already had her stats in. And now she's looking at it and she's like, oh, I'm making about $1,000 in production and hygiene. Oh, I can do better. She comes in and tells me that I can do better. So I was like, okay, great. I mean, what else can I ask for? She wants more. And I was like, okay, great. So next person you need to talk to is the recall coordinator who's scheduling your recalls. So that helped because that comm lines got established and she took responsibility. Now the recall coordinator is looking at her stats. That helped build a lot of accountability within the group, within the team as well. And they know that those stats are there. So it brings a lot of reality on a daily basis in. It's not like, oh, I'm doing good, I'm not doing good. It's purely by numbers. Everyone enters their stats end of day. Everybody knows that they're supposed to do that. When they're doing that, they already have their daily goals based on the goals that are set up for the month and the week. So when they're looking at that, they're also looking at where they are and how they need to plan their next few days. If my production goal is down by 2,000 and I need to catch up, it is going to add up in that week and I'm going to do that. So I'm going to plan for it. Now I'm on the other side of the week and now I realize, oh, I'm lagging by $10,000. That's going to be ridiculous rather than be like, oh, I can already make up for this over the week. So that's what we have seen. I have my scheduling coordinator coming in and telling me, oh, we're behind. We need to do something about this. Them coming in and talking to the doctor about it is them taking responsibility where they're not like, oh, this is the doctor owner, I can't say it. No, my stats are behind. I better hit these stats. And they'll come and talk to me about it. And I'm like, okay, game plan, what are we going to do? So it helps build that dynamic in there. It helps build that drive in there, which we have definitely seen. I've seen my NPCs taking more responsibility. Stats are dropping. What marketing channels do we need to work on? And we'll get these calls going, which is interesting interesting to see. That did not happen before until they actually, it's almost like now they have their finger on the pulse, and it really helps to understand that. The staff enters it end of day, they enter their stats. We always check the following week to make sure, because that OIC board is right there. So if a stat is not entered, you can see that stat is not entered. And I don't have to go through individual graphs, it's all there in one place. So I just have to scan through, entered, and it's usually me or my office manager who will do that real quick. And like, okay, Sarah, what happened? Why isn't your stat entered? She's like, oh, on it. But that also is something where we know who's doing the work that needs to be done and who is not doing the work that doesn't need to be done. It does take just a minute to enter it. Not even a minute. A minute is actually long. It takes less than a minute to enter stats, because you're just entering that one digit, or if you have multiple stats, you're entering maybe 3 digits really quick. So there is no reason why it shouldn't be done by that time. And we have preset time. End of day, 5 p.m., this should be entered. That's it. So everybody gets it done. They're already working on finishing it up in the last 20 minutes. My stats are ready, enter, boom, done. Next morning, we make sure, like if we were with patients, we finished a little bit later during the day. Next morning, that would be the first thing. Before the morning meetings, we make sure everything's entered, because they're presenting that. The executives are presenting that briefly in their morning meetings when we do the morning meetings. We have our week endings on Wednesday. Wednesday, everybody knows that they're supposed to get their stats in. If they're juniors, they know their stats because their stats are already in. So there's really not much to do. We make sure they're accurate, kind of putting their weekly graphs together. And then if they're juniors, they pass it on to the seniors. On Thursday mornings is when we have our weekly meetings. We have all the executives in there. Junior executives or juniors may or may not be in there, but executives already have that data in. So that's where, when we sit down, we review the graph for this week versus past week. We review conditions. We see, okay, what falls in. We go through the formula. Now, in the beginning, my team and I, at the weekly executive meetings, we used to do the formulas together. So we used to run it like, okay, new patient coordinator, what is going on? Okay, what's the first step? What's the second step? And we used to write it together. Now, they have come to a point where they know how this needs to be done. So on Wednesday, it's already prepared. On Thursday, when they come in, they already have a battle plan together. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This does not work. We're going to take this out. This worked. We're going to continue with this. This is how I'm going to train my junior because this did not work. We're going to try this out. But what that does is it takes away a lot of problem solving away from me. Now they have taken up that responsibility, already solved those problems. And then we're discussing it as a team, almost like ideating together on, oh, this is great. Let's put this into action. Let's see how that works. And then you know the barometer right there, because next week when I'm seeing the stats again, I know if it worked or not. It did not work, take it out. Replace it with a program that works. But that makes it simpler to manage, because now you have people who know what to do with the stats, how to create a battle plan, how to apply it. It just makes it simple. Before, we used to use Google Drives and Google Workspace to assign hats and checklists, and it was great, but it wasn't all in one place. We get the most benefit of it, especially when we're onboarding new staff, because new staff will go in circles. Oh, now it says go to a DDS success video. So now they're opening up another tab, they're going to another tab, logging in, and all of that. So now with this whole system where whenever we onboard the new staff, everything is already lined up in there. It is assigned to their hat. So as soon as they log in, they have the whole library right there. They click right there and they click on the DDS video link. They're going to go directly to that. So it makes it simple. Now it's not like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Now I have to wait for somebody to be available to walk me through this. It gets simpler. And when they're done, we know they're done too. So that whole process becomes easier. It becomes easier for them to have the description of the hat. This is amazing. Like, I've had so many team members who are from a dental office background who will come in and who will tell me there's no such thing as an org board that they've ever seen. They never had clear comm lines established. So when they look at the org board, they're like, oh, so I don't have to tell the receptionist to verify the insurance. I can directly reach out to this person, and this is the email. It's already in there. They can see it in there. They click on it. They know, okay, that's where I need to go. This is the person who needs to verify it, and they can directly send a task directly to them. So that makes it simple, because now you're not micromanaging, micro-solving those problems. It's out there right in front of you. It's as simple as it can be. Right now, every executive or a practice owner is going through one single challenge, and that is not having enough time. And the best way to have more time is to bring more systems and organization into place. Automate it. And simplest way to automate it is to put it in one place in a way where you can see it easily, you can implement it easily. That's what I feel DDS dashboard did for our practice. The stats are in there. It's quick and easy to look at. The org board is in there. Every person has access to it, and they have access to the data that they need, and it's at the click of a button. That's as much of management and systems that you can get in one place. Now you get able individuals in doing what needs to be done. That's your time management.